Good morning students. Today we are going to start with the CS2 portion. So this day we are going to start with the first unit of CS2. So the name of this unit is electronic components. In this unit we have to study regarding the electronic components. Now why we are studying this chapter, why we are studying this unit, the reason is that in CS2 we have to study the hardware part. So the hardware, as we have to study the hardware parts, so we have to study how we can develop circuits and what are the things that we require while building any of the circuit. So this is the reason we have this unit in our syllabus. So let's start with this unit, electronic components. So first of all, what is electronic component? An electronic component is any basic discrete device in an electronic system which is used to affect electrons or their associated fields. They are the elements of circuit which help in its functioning. Electronic components have a number of electrical terminals. These terminals connect to other electrical components to create an electronic circuit, and this is how we can create a electronic circuit by connecting number of electronic components. Next is classification of electronic components. How we can classify it? We can classify it into two different categories. So these two categories are passive and active. So we have to study in detail what is passive component, what is active component, what is the definition of passive and active component, and what is the differentiation between these two components. So let's start with the active components. So as the name of this component is active. Active means we can make changes. These are the components which can amplify the signals. So the active components are the devices that can amplify an electric signal and produce power. An active component functions as an alternating current circuit in devices. This helps the device to augment power and voltage, whereas this component can execute its operation because it is powered by a source of electricity. So it basically appears as a source of electricity. All the active components necessitate some source of energy which commonly is extracted from a DC circuit. Any characteristics active component will comprise an, so these are some of the examples like oscillator, transistor, or an IC or an integrated circuit. So these are some of the examples which comprise or which comprises of active components. Now let's move to next category, passive components. So as the name is passive, passive means they do not have ability to amplify the signal. So passive components can't introduce net energy into the circuit. They also can't rely on a source of power except for what is available from the AC circuit they are directly connected to. So for this is the only source. As a consequence, they can't amplify. That is, can't amplify means they cannot increase the power of a signal, although they may increase a voltage or current, such as is done by a transformer or a resonant circuit. Passive components include two terminal components such as, so these are some of the examples which comes under passive, that is resistors, capacitors, inductors and transformers. So this is what is active component and passive component. Now this is the classification of active and passive components. So in this unit under active components we have to study or what are the things that comes under active components, that is electronic tubes, semiconductor devices. I hope all of you must know that what are semiconductor devices because you are already studying physics. So this is a portion of physics. So inside the semiconductor devices you will study regarding diodes, transistors and FETs. Whereas in passive components it is classified as resistors, capacitors and inductors. Now let's start with the first category, that we have to study resistor. Now what is resistor? A resistor is a passive component in a circuit which provides resistance to the flow of control. So students, as the name of this is resistor, so it is used to provide resistance. The principal job of a resistor within an electrical or electronic circuit is to resist. Hence the name of this is resistor. So its main job is to resist, to regulate or to set the flow of electrons, that is to regulate the flow of current through them by using the type of conductive material from which they are composed. So from whatever material it is composed, we have to provide or we have to regulate the flow of these things. Now why there is a need to control the flow? Because we do not want that our devices explode or something happens to our devices. So this is the reason we always use these things. So resistors can also be connected together in various series and parallel combinations to form resistor networks, which can act as voltage droppers, voltage dividers, or current limiters within a circuit. So I hope many of you must have seen some of these things in our household devices too, to control these things. Resistors are what are called passive devices. So why we call resistors as passive devices? We already studied that what are passive components which do not have capacity to alternate or to amplify the signal. So that is, they contain no source of power or amplification, but they can only attenuate or reduce the voltage or current signal passing through them. So in many of the devices we always require these things to reduce the voltage, current level, and sometimes to attenuate the signal. These resistors vary in their construction, power dissipation, capacities, and tolerance to various parameters. So we can consider different parameters, for example, temperature, light. So this is just an example. Some of the common characteristics associated with the humble resistor are temperature coefficient. So these are the things that we majorly cover, or that we majorly take, that is temperature coefficient, voltage coefficient, noise frequency response, power, as well as resistor temperature rating, physical size, and reliability. So these are some of the factors. Next topic is types of resistors. So we have basically two types of resistors: fixed resistors or variable resistors. So let's start with the fixed resistor. So as the name is fixed, in this resistance has only one value, and most of the structure of this type is cylindrical in shape, that has two wire leads or terminals. So fixed resistors are by far the most widely used type of resistor. These are most commonly used in electronic circuits to set the right condition in a circuit. So this is the reason. Their values are determined during the design phase of the circuit, and they should never need to be changed to adjust the circuit. So this is the reason why we called it as fixed, because once we are done, then we do not require to change to adjust the circuits. So by default they work accordingly. So there are many different types of resistors which can be used in different situations and different circumstances. Next is variable resistors. So as the name is variable, so these resistors consist of a fixed resistor element and a slider. So this is the reason why we called it as variable. It contains a slider which taps onto the main resistor element. So this is how we can control it. This gives three connections to the component, two connected to the fixed element, and the third is the slider. In this way, the component act as a variable potential divider if all three connections are used, and it is possible to connect to the slider and one end to provide a resistor with variable resistance. Now these are the categories that comes under. Now these are the categories which comes under fixed resistors. Carbon composition type resistors. So this is the most common type of low voltage resistor. The resistive material is of carbon clay composition and the leads are made of tined copper. These resistors are cheap and reliable and stability is very high in these types of resistors. Next is wire wound resistors. These resistors are a length of wire wound and insulating cylindrical core. So usually wires of materials such as consonant means which contain 60% of copper and 40% of nickel, and the manganese which have high resistivity and lower temperature coefficients are employed. So this is the advantage. The completed wire wound resistor is coated with an insulating material such as baked enamel. So this is just a coating material. Now why they make use of coating material? To prevent it from the atmospheric or outer conditions. Next is metallized resistors. It is constructed using film deposition techniques of depositing a thick film of resistive material onto an insulating substrate. So only approximate values of resistance can be had by this method. So these are the following categories that comes under fixed type of resistors. Now we have to start with the variable types of resistors. Now we have to start with the variable resistors. So let's start with this category. So variable resistors are commonly called as rheostats, and in low current circuit like in electronic circuit, small variable resistors, we also call it as potentiometer or ports. So this potentiometer name probably originated from the work potential divider. This is the reason why we call it as potentiometer. So variable resistors are most commonly used in radio and audio equipments to control the volume for contrast and brightness in TV sets. So this way we have divided this category into wire wound potentiometers and carbon fill potentiometers. So let's start with this wire wound potentiometers. So wire wound potentiometers, this potentiometer comprises of several rounds of wire wound around the shaft of the non-conducting material. The turns of the coil are bonded together by an adhesive material. In this case, the slider connected to the body whose displacement is to be measured moves on the potentiometer track and it makes contacts with the successive turns of the coil. So this is how we work on this. In this case, the wire between the two successive turns is not covered by the slider, which limits the resolution of the wire wound potentiometers. However, the larger the number of turns of the coil, more is the resolution of the coil. So resolution of the coil directly depends upon the number of turns of the coil. The resolution is measured as the reciprocal of the number of turns of the coil. So this device has low noise and is mechanically rough and tough. So this is wire wound potentiometer. Next is carbon film potentiometer. The carbon film potentiometers are formed by depositing It is formed by depositing carbon composition ink on an insulating body, which in most of the case is phenolic resin. So this is one of the most commonly used materials for the pots, that is very cheap and has resolution much better than the wire wound potentiometer. So they have reasonable life and tolerable noise levels. Next category is plastic film pots. These pots comprise of the specially impregnated plastic material having resistance, which have resistance features that are controlled properly. So these can be majorly used for rotary as well as translation slider movements. They have very good life, they have very better resolution than the wire wound pots and low noise. So with this students, we have done with the very first topic, that is active and passive components, and where we have studied different active components. Where we have studied passive component, resistors, and the categories that comes under resistors. So tomorrow we will start with next category.